The race for the leadership of the 10th Senate, despite the internal endorsement of the All Progressives Congress, continues to draw fierce rivalry and intense intrigues, even across party lines. While the horse trading goes on, there are concerns over zonal balancing and regional interest in the whole scenario. Well, the governor of Ebonyi State and Senator-elect Dave Umahi joins us now for more on this. Good to see you, Dave Umahi, and thanks for your time.
Thank you very much.
Your party has been in the news for a very long time. Nigerians are getting to see how intense the politics is getting in your party as they move into the 10th Assembly, which you're also going to be a part of. Take us through first the list. And how your party perhaps arrived at zoning it to the southern part of the country.
Well, I am not a member of the working committee of the APC, but let me first say congratulations to Arise News for winning the TV of the year.
Thank you.
I'm sure this is the first time.
And his history that you hear on the day, just a few hours after it's been announced.
You took it from China, is it? Thank you, congratulations. That's a very great feat, and Arise, you people have been doing very, very well, including fighting. You know. So, well, thank you very much. Like I said, not being a member of the working committee, but let me say that when we were contesting all the elections, the primaries, we were given a form to sign, and we swore affidavit to that, to abide by the party decision. We were, everyone from the House of Assembly to the Presidency, you know, all aspirants were required to do that. And we all did that. And part of the letters of that affidavit is that whatever the decision of the party, that we abide by that. And I was taken on that a couple of times because I ran also for as an aspirant, you know, to the presidency. And when it didn't, you know, favor me, I had to fully, you know. In fact, I became the southern coordinator of the Asiwaju Shetima, you know, campaign organization. So I did that in obedience to the party directives and the party policy. So this one, the party in their wisdom, and I wasn't there, say, look, we have zoned the Senate presidency to the southern, you know, part of Nigeria and to the south-south. And they went again and said, look, we have checked, and we believe that Senator Akpabio from south-south, you know, should be the Senate president, and Senator Barau from the northwest should be his deputy. I was contesting, you know, standing for Southeast, along with some other aspirants also from Southeast, or senators. And the moment the party took that decision, in fact, prior to that, you know, I had a meeting with the president-elect. And he said to me, look, it's not likely that the party will zone this thing to Southeast. There is a commitment. Please don't run. I say, I am not in the habit of disobeying, you know, the leadership of the party or the leadership of government. So I said, yes, sir. And he said, please go and work for Senator Akpabio and Senator Barau. I had to do a press conference. I had to explain to our people. And coming from Southeast, my major aim is to get the Southeast people to play at the center, to get them to work with the central government. This is very important to me. And I will sacrifice anything to get that done.
And sorry, Cholu, and this is not the first time we've seen you make such a sacrifice, and perhaps you were the very first who made that move, moving into the APC, because you said you wanted the Southeast to be at the center.
Exactly.
Now, speak to us more on what you saw in a political crystal ball that made you make that decision very early as governor.
Well, I'm a spiritual person, and God speaks to me, and when God speaks to me, I understand. And God told me, look, APC was still going to win the presidency. And again, I wanted to demonstrate the fact that the Southeast people, they have always supported the party at the center, the government at the center. And that was not happening. And I wasn't happy about that, As a growing child, I saw that happen. And there was, a very smooth relationship. And so my decision and the aim was whatever thing possible I could do within the limit of the law to, let our people have an understanding that, look, we have done this before. We shouldn't be antagonistic to the government at the center. And of course, very little of the population, but no matter how little it is, it's always the fake news, it's always the bad news that people want to hear.
Interesting. Okay, so are you taking this position as a member, as a senator-elect, or you're speaking for the people from your region? Because it's important to note that it's one thing to have withdrawn from the race because of your sportsmanship, but it's another thing to also know if it's an agreement with the people from your region.
Let me make something very clear. I don't have the right to speak for the aspirants, of Southeast, that are still in the race. But I'm the chairman of Southeast Governors Forum, and I have a right to think what is good, for our people. And that's what I've done. And if my position suits those who are still aspiring, then they can join me in this single task of not playing for self, but doing something that will elicit confidence among other regions.
What if they're not happy with your decision?
Because it's their right not to be happy or to be happy. But let me say something, If you are in APC and you are from Southeast, we cannot totally say that it's our right. We don't have that moral justification, so to say, even though we have made APC the dominant party in Southeast. But look at the number of votes, we gave APC for whatever reasons. So we cannot pursue that number 3 position in the country as a matter of right, but as a matter of dialogue, as a matter of appealing to our people. But since it didn't happen, it is only important that we obey the party. And if we obey the party and we follow up with the party policies and their decisions, a time will come. Because last time it was, one, governor, and then I joined. Now we have 2 elected governors of APC Southeast, which means that what we are aiming, Governor Hope was on them and myself, who are carrying this, and of course some other people. Right now you see some people from PDP in Southeast, you people from the senators elect from, Labour Party, they have all joined supporting Senator Kwabia and Senator Barrow.
And that's the fear here. The worry is that how truly are we going to have separation of powers and not have a lame duck kind of National Assembly where the Senate President perhaps who has gotten the nod from the President-elect?
Honestly, I have always insisted that the media fuel some of the speculations, because the National Assembly is not supposed to be at war with the executives. If that happens, then there will be a problem. If a Senate President is thrown up, God forbid, by mistake, and so the mind of the Senate President is coming there to push, the executive, and then nothing will work. But I've always advocated, yes, the leadership of the party of APC and the President-elect and Vice President-elect have made a choice. We support that choice. And so it becomes like, that the go-getter. And in order not to have any rancor, between the executive and legislature, I have advocated that the leadership of the judiciary, leadership of the legislature, and that of the executive should come together in the first instance and discuss on how to reset this country. They have to discuss.
I think you have a point. Sorry to cut you there. Yeah. The point here is that looking at the 8th Senate and the 9th Senate, you're looking at the number of bills passed in the 8th Assembly, and you come back to the 9th. Many still think many still think that we had a more vibrant and robust 8th Assembly than the 9th Assembly.
No, it's the other way around. Go and ask the senators how much percentage of their constituency projects they assessed. Ask how many bills were passed. The 9th Assembly, they have done very, very well, because there's a relationship between the President and the Senate President, and the Speaker and the Senate and the President. So That relationship must be there. And in order, you see, the public sometimes, they love to hear that the Senate President, National Assembly is quarreling with the executive. Who are the people suffering? The masses. So my position about leadership is that if we can rule this country in such a way that an ordinary citizen will be able to access education, access food, there is water, there is light, then that is what they should be looking for. They should not be looking to say, look, oh, the Senate is a lame dog, you know, the House of Rep is a lame. No, we shouldn't be looking at that. In order not to bring that rancor, I advocate that there should be informal meeting almost for every bill. Let the executive and the leadership of legislature, let them meet. Of course, they have a right to disagree, but they disagree behind camera. The stage we are now in the country is that we should, all hands should be on deck on how to move this country forward. And it doesn't need a rancorous relationship.
Okay, now, distinguished Senator-elect, it's important to note that...
it's good you remind me of that.
We're not saying that we want the National Assembly and the executive to always have a rancor. But we're just concerned about the checks and balances that should exist in their relationship. Okay, so what type of legislative assembly, what type of assembly do you want, what type of 10th assembly do you look forward to? Because it's important also to remind you that one thing is rubber stamping, that's not what we're talking about. Another thing is being a lame duck, we're not talking about that. But we want you to speak to us about the type of relationship, the exact relationship you want between the legislature and the executive.
Yeah, I recommend two approaches. The first one is that there is a need to discuss. There is a need for national engagement. There is a need. And the president should be able to, when sworn in, should be able to move around the 6th region and ask them, what do you want? And he should be able to talk to, all shades of people and get their opinions. And the opinions will guide him. The campaign promises are there. But until you engage the people before you understand their problems. So you compile that and put it on the table.
How is this different? How is your suggestion different from the Sovereign National Conference?
No. It's far different from that. I've not even landed.
Okay.
And so with the background information having obtained from the people by yourself, then you need to now call the National Assembly, the leadership. You sit down and say, look at my findings. How are we going to move this nation forward? And so I recommend, first, is the engagement of the leadership of judiciary, the engagement with the National Assembly leadership, with the executives, selected, of course, the president and the vice president, and then few of the cabinet members of Mr. President. And so they should sit down. And the question they should be asking, how do we reset the country? This is very important going forward. So there we have a common template. And this common template is that nobody deviate from that. Because the the fifth estate of the realm should be the public. If you are deviated, unless we have different, opinions or different agenda coming to power. Otherwise, if we are all chasing the same thing, the economy, youth employment, the security, and so on and so forth. So why should we worry about that? We could disagree on the method, but we can agree discussing it. So you bring your strong points, I bring my strong points, and we discuss it. And this is the kind of engagement I expect.
Well, before I let you go, on a lighter note, NYC is marking its 50th anniversary. It reminds me of serving in your state, the backwaters of the east of Nigeria. Yeah. Then it was all dusty to the extent that the only means of transportation in Ebonyi state was onaga. Motorbike. So take us through. I would like to use the word on a lighter note. How are my people doing? How much have you done for the Ebonyi people?
Ebonyi state is a different place altogether right now. We have done over 1,500, kilometers of concrete road. I'm not differentiating state roads from federal government road. Just the other day, I commissioned 199 kilometers of concrete road. About 70% of them done by the African Development Bank, facility, and about 30% was my contribution, which I also did. We now have a mall, Ebonyi Mall. It's the best mall you can think of anywhere in West Africa. We have an international airport right now, and I took off from there, and it's the first concrete, runway in Nigeria. and it's fantastic with a width of 75 meters.
Sorry, I'm cutting you short. As core members, we used to have two kinds of rice, the one with the stone and with the stoneless rice.
Yeah.
So have you managed to make that into commercial,
very serious commercial,
business?
The next target with our international airport is to start exporting, part of the rice. We also have the largest mushroom factory, and we want to engage in making mushroom that we export for medical uses. Ebonyi State is a different ballgame. You just liken it to Dubai. At night, you visit Ebonyi State, you will think you're outside this country. Very beautiful. But before I go, I want to appeal to my brothers and sisters from Southeast. And of course, I want to appeal to the senators elect, from Southeast and of course from all over the country. We will not start the 10th Senate, quarreling. The APC party, they have taken a decision, the leadership. Let us support them. And let us support Senator Pabio. Let us support Senator Barrow. Let us support the Abbas for House of Rep speakership and my brother Carlo. This is very important. And when we talk about this leadership, these people are just first among equals.
We are going to be equals. Yes. Talking about first among equals, it's important to leave a state that's first among equals. You want to speak to us about your reasons for appointing new commissioners just a few days to your handover?
I needed to enhance their status because they work very well for me. And so, don't forget that we're a state so backwards, just created a few years backwards. And so one of the things God asked me to do is to boost the confidence of our people. And so these 4 people have worked with me as senior special assistants. They didn't come from outside. And so I needed to elevate them so that when they come up here to talk to you and they need to introduce themselves, they say former commissioner.
Okay, so your main aim of appointing them was
because they work, it's a reward.
Status symbol?
No, the reward system. Reward system, the reward system. And I will insist on reward system. My governor-elect taking over from me, he's been with me for the past 16 years. And of course, if I had the 5 years in the party, and he's been very loyal, very hardworking, very honest, very committed to the people. And so you don't overlook such people, since he's capable. And so these people are capable, so I needed to elevate them so that the next administration...
You're also elevating the take-home pay of these people and the severance package. And that is why some of your critics are saying, well, in a state where we have lean resources, Governor Umahi,
I've made Ebonyi rich. And even if I work...
How rich is Ebonyi now?
Ebonyi is very great because we're going to have a lot of resources. I built the best medical university in the country. And the IGR is coming from there. A lot of people want to be in that university. The airport, people are struggling to take it over, but I want the federal government to take it over and concession it. We have the international market, that is the best you can find anywhere. We have the best road network. The rice in Ebonyi State is the biggest rice producing state. So Ebonyi is no longer, and again, there is something I did, which is the local content. I made sure that 99% of our, funds circulate within the state, and that's by direct labor, facilities, which we give almost all our jobs to the ministries. And this ministries execute this job. I've done 14 twin flyovers in Ebonyi State.
I think we'll find time to come back and talk more about Ebonyi State, even while you get into the Senate proper.
Yeah, but don't assume that right now Akpabio Barrow, and I'm the chairman of Akpabio Barrow campaign organization, the Stability Group. I'm the chairman, and as at today we have 70 senators who have signed for us, who attend meeting with us. But we are still moving. Today we went to Labour Party to thank them for their members that are supporting us. Okay, and then of course we visited the Nasarawa State Governor, who is my good friend, and tomorrow we also have such engagement. We are not, just taking the advantage of the fact that the president-elect has appointed.
We'll have to come do this again. We'll have to do this again, and we'll speak more.
Don't think that
the quarry business and every other thing. We'll come back and have this conversation.
Yeah, but I want you to know that the media is painting the issue in the APC. It's not.
That's not true.
Thank you very much. Thank you. God bless you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Governor Dave Umahi, Senator-elect from Ebonyi State.